Okay, let's dive into this. You ever wonder what really separates a piece of music that feels kind of stiff, maybe a little robotic, from one that just makes you want to move? It's not just about the notes they're playing. It's something way deeper, something that gives music its soul. So let's just ask it straight up. What is the actual difference between music played perfectly by a machine and music played by a living, breathing person? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple, but man, it is the key to everything we feel in music. And the answer? It comes down to two little words: tempo and feel. See, these two things work together to turn a simple sequence of notes into a living, breathing groove. So for the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly what they are and how they totally shape the music you love. All right, first up, tempo. The easiest way to think about this is as the pulse of the music. It's the foundational speed, right? It's the internal clock that absolutely everything else is built on. And it's no surprise that the word tempo literally comes from the Italian word for time. And that's exactly what it is. It's the thing that strictly controls how fast or slow a song's underlying beat is. You could say it's the engine of the track. So, how do we actually measure this? Well, in modern music, and especially in the studio, we use a super precise measurement called BPM. And that, of course, stands for beats per minute. To get a real feel for this, let's look at 60 BPM. This one's the easiest to imagine for sure. It's exactly one beat every single second, just like that steady, deliberate tick of a second hand on a clock. Okay, now let's double that. At 120 BPM, you get a much more energetic vibe. I mean, this is the classic speed for so much pop music, for disco. It's a tempo that's almost guaranteed to make you want to dance. And then, somewhere in between, you find this sweet spot for genres like hip hop and R&B. That 80 to 100 BPM range is just perfect for creating a relaxed but totally undeniable groove. You know, that head-nodding feel. Now, this is really cool because it shows us how people talked about tempo way before we had digital metronomes. Composers use these awesome Italian words. Just look at the examples. Largo is super slow, perfect for, say, a heavy tragic scene. Andante is like a comfortable walking pace. Allegro is fast and bright like an upbeat rock song. And presto? Well, presto is just flat out fast. Think of a frantic car chase scene. But look, speed is only half the story. Now we have to talk about the vibe of the rhythm, what we call the feel. And this is where the human element really starts to shine. This brings us to a really interesting puzzle. If you have two songs playing at the exact same tempo, say 120 BPM, why can one feel super rigid while the other feels bouncy? The answer is all about how the space between the beats is handled. So the two main fields you're going to hear pretty much everywhere are straight and swing. A straight feel, it's mathematically perfect. The beat is divided into two perfectly equal 50-50 parts. Think rock, pop, techno. Swing, on the other hand, is all about that human touch. It divides the beat into two uneven parts, a long note, then a short one. And it's this little imperfection that makes it feel so natural, like breathing or walking. It's the heart and soul of jazz, blues, and classic R&B. So what does the straight feel actually sound like? Well, it's that mechanical, even pulse. Tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. Perfectly even, totally predictable. But swing, it has this kind of lilting, almost skipping quality to it. It sounds way more like a heartbeat. Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. You can immediately hear that relaxed, long, short pulse. It just feels different. All right, here's a super simple test you can do right now. Go on, try singing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Okay, so now we're getting into the really advanced stuff. Beyond just straight or swing, there's this even deeper layer of feel that musicians are always talking about, playing in the pocket. This is all about the performer's individual nuance. So, where does a musician actually place their notes compared to that perfect robotic beat? Well, they've got three main choices. They can play slightly ahead of the beat. We call that pushing, which creates this awesome energy and urgency. You hear it all over punk rock. They can play exactly on the beat for that super tight, polished pop sound. Or, and this is my favorite, they can play just slightly behind the beat, giving the music that incredibly cool, laid-back vibe you hear in neo-soul and so much great hip-hop. So after all that, we've hopefully given you a whole new set of ears, a brand new way to listen to and appreciate the music you already know and love. Because here's the crucial point, right? We started this journey with the simple robotic pulse of a metronome. That's the tempo. Then we added the human vibe of straight versus swing. And finally, we layered on the performer's own unique touch, playing in the pocket. We've literally gone from a machine to a person. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you put on your favorite song, I want you to listen closer. Don't just hear the melody, listen for the rhythm. Can you actually identify the feel? Is it straight and driving, or is it swinging and loose? Can you tell if the drummer is pushing the beat or laying way back in the pocket? Now you know exactly what to listen for.